go ahead and start. Okay, we'll call the regular city council meeting Monday, October 2nd, 2017 to order. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Puttup.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Ferrari, excuse me.
Here.
Waldorf.
Here.
Lukosius.
Here.
Radke.
Here.
Sapienza. Payton.
Here.
Ballard.
Here.
Mayor Harrell.
Here, pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we have no presentations tonight that I'm aware of. Do we have any? Recreation, did you have a presentation, Ray? Anything under recreation? No? Okay. Any public comment on any cards filled out on agenda items? Have a motion to receive the minutes, place on file.
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Do I have a motion to receive the financial reports placed on file?
So moved, Your Honor. Second, Your Honor.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Your Honor, I'd like to point out to the council the sales tax report. Through the month of June, we have 4.9 million as compared to 5,025,000. So it's about $19,000 less than it was last year, which is less than 1%. So in all that I'm seeing, it's a very positive report. You know, from my viewpoint, I thought the sales tax would drop a little bit more than that, but still we're on line for hopefully to meet last year's expectations.
Okay, any further discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. We'll move on to committee reports. Finance Safety Services, Chairman Putoff.
Yes, Your Honor. Total disbursements to be paid October 4 of 2017 are $1,143,657.39. I move that this report be received, placed on file, and the bills paid in usual manner. I'll second that, Your Honor.
Have a motion and a second to receive the disbursements, place on file, and pay the bills in the usual manner. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call. Clerk, call the roll, please.
Alderman Puttup.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Yes, under the safety service part of finance, as everybody is aware, a week ago today, we had a situation here in town, and I'd like to turn it over to Chief Burnaby and kind of give us a follow-up.
Well, I can obviously talk about how we handled the situation that particular night. Obviously, what could have been a very tragic situation. We took a very methodical approach, a safe approach, right from the get-go. The sheriff and I, and Chief King and the other people in the Unified Command decided that we were going to wait however long it possibly took, rather than just force a situation. When we went in to do the eviction, as you're aware, we went in with our SWAT people and bomb people and that type of thing, because we did have information that it potentially could be a tough situation. I think what was so striking is in such a short period of time, we were able to set up the Unified Command. I think the latest count is right at 200 first responders were there. They were there for the duration. We received a tremendous amount of mutual aid, and we want to obviously extend our appreciation to the neighboring communities. I'm tracking all of our expenses in an incident like that, and I think just the city of Peru was a $13,000 event. When you had the overtime, the firefighters, some equipment costs and that sort of thing. So some of the other neighboring communities, they stepped up in mutual aid too, and nobody's concerned about that. I know the fire department's LaSalle was there for the duration, I believe, so, and their people, for example. So it was a very professional response, a well-reasoned response. I hope. Obviously, the goal was we didn't want any citizens to get hurt. We accomplished that. We didn't want any first responders to get hurt, and we did not want to get this person hurt. Obviously, it was a troubling incident, and we wanted everybody to go home and be safe, and including him. So that's why we didn't force things. We took a methodical approach. You know, with social media these days, there's a lot of people coaching us and telling us what to do and why we weren't doing anything. But the reality is we were doing a lot of things, negotiations, and it was very successful. A bad situation turned out to be successful because nobody got hurt.
Just goes to show you how everybody can come together in this area. Thank you, Chief. That's all I have.
Anything further from finance?
No, nothing further.
Okay, we'll move on to public services. Chairman Walder?
Yes, sir. I would like to make a motion to approve some requested changes from Peru Little League as follows: adding dugout roofs to instructional diamond, adding new fascia and gutters to the concession stand, and removal and regrading of the lip along the infield, outfield ledge at the Little League diamond. These were all made at the public service. The requests were all made at the Public Services Committee meeting, and this will all be funded by Little League. So there is no city funding involved. Being that it's all, they're just structural changes, and that has to come through the council. So I will make that a motion.
I'll second it.
Have a motion to approve requested change of approved Little League. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call the roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Next, Your Honor, I will make this motion to authorize approval for disc golf at Baker Lake, subject to final approval and necessary submittals to the engineering department. Eric, I think you have some comments.
Yeah, met last week, on site to do a walkthrough of the course. And we had sent some comments over previously, from the first plan submittal that came into the office, and all those comments from my department were addressed, and did walk, the site. Like I said, some of the holes had moved, the throwing direction of some of the holes was changed. And overall, I think, the equipment and the pads that are associated with everything looks really good, in my opinion. We did receive some feedback from some residents nearby the park, and that feedback generally was supportive of the disc golf. The only comment that came was if we would look at a phased approach rather than an initial 18-hole course, if we just look at that 9-hole course to start, and how that would impact the activities at the park, and then phase in the following 9 holes the next summer. So that was a comment that was addressed, and a comment that I shared with all of you via email. But overall, I think the plan is looks really good.
Okay, thank you, Eric. That motion is still on the table.
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a motion by Alderman Waldorf, a second by, okay. Any discussion?
Yeah, my question is, are we committing to a 9-hole course at this point, and wait till 18?
I think the intent of the motion was for the 18-hole disc golf.
That's correct. The proposal on the table is for an 18-hole course.
Well, in your opinion, Eric, would phase-in be the better route to go?
In my personal opinion, I don't think that the phasing would be a problem. I know that there maybe was a couple concerns with purchasing of equipment and, the cost of that equipment in bulk as opposed to buying it at 2 separate times. So we can look at the cost of that equipment, but as far as the phased approach goes, doing one 9-hole one summer and then adding the additional 9 through my department, that's not an issue.
I mean, I'm hesitant to go with that advice, but I'd like to ask the park board a little bit to weigh in on this issue too. The residents are saying 9.
Yes, I'm all in favor of going 18 for the first year, as opposed to a phased project. We met last week with Mr. Carr and Mr. Rick. We did some redirecting 2 holes, and 2 holes were moved by the south spillway by DNR. And, it's up to you guys, if you want to go phased.
Ray, in your opinion, Ray, do you feel that the 18-hole layout would disrupt other activities in the park?
No, not at all.
Okay.
And again, from my point of view, the 18-hole layout, as they have it proposed now, is sufficient for.
Okay.
Okay, do you have a comment?
Yeah.
Yes, if you went with, if you were to go with, the 9 holes, you're gonna have a problem signing, because you're gonna have, each hole is gonna have a sign with the hole number and the distance. So if you were to put 9 holes in, you're gonna, those signs are gonna be pretty much worthless next year, because you, the way the course is set up, it does a loop. We have like a flow to it. Okay. If you were to put 9 in, you still want that loop, so it's gonna change the whole of demand. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you. That's why we wanted to ask you, because you designed it.
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay, so the motion and second were made as submitted, which is 18 holes. Okay, any further discussion?
No.
We'll have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke. Payton. Ballard.
Motion approved.
Chief King, do you have anything? Chief Murphy? That's all from Public Services, Your Honor, thank you.
Okay, reports of city attorney, ordinances, resolutions.
Thank you, Your Honor. First, I'll have an ordinance amending the City of Peru Employee Manual. Human Resources Manager Kim Reese, can you comment on that?
It was just after further consideration, in reviewing that policy, that since, it's with the tuition reimbursement, which will now be the tuition assistance, policy, that it's such a benefit to the City of Peru that it was, recommended that we just go ahead. The city will pay up front for the tuition and cost of books. And if the employee does not receive a grade of C or higher, then that employee will reimburse the city. So that's the reason for the change.
It's just that one section, educational assistance.
Okay, do I have a motion?
Second, Your Honor.
Any further discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Payton. Ballard.
Motion approved.
Next, I have a resolution authorizing the execution of an intergovernmental automatic mutual aid agreement between the City of Spring Valley and the City of Peru. I'll pass this one to Chief Jeff King.
This agreement we currently have with LaSalle and Ogletree, it's when we get into any big issues. For example, last week, we'll put out an auto aid, and right now, currently, say for example, we have a structure fire in town, I'm automatically getting LaSalle and Ogletree without having to call them, and then I usually call in Spring Valley. This here, we'll put it with the auto aid agreement where I don't have to make that. As soon as we get a structure fire, all three are rolling right away, and vice versa. We do the same with them on each state. So, by doing this, it expedites response without having to do radio traffic. It helps us with our ISO points. So it's a win-win for everybody. So we all just help each other out through our auto agent.
So is that for any incident, or is it just certain?
Just certain ones. We have box cards, which we have at the police department. We have wrote on there. If it comes in as a house fire or something like that, then the auto aid is going to be enacted. But if it's a car fire or something simple, or alarm or something, then we don't do that. Just big incidents is it.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution as written and read.
Second.
Have a motion and second to accept the resolution as written and read. Is there any discussion? Have a roll call vote, clerk call roll.
Alderman Putoff.
Aye.
Ferrari.
Aye.
Waldorf.
Aye.
Lukosius.
Aye.
Radke.
Aye.
Payton.
Aye.
Ballard.
Motion approved.
Nothing further.
Unfinished business. Do we have any unfinished business? Hearing none. Do we have any new business? Petitions, communications.
We have a few communications here. Our first one is a communication from David Hoover requesting a special use for property located at 1517 Peoria Street.
We have a motion to receive the communication, place on file, and turn over to planning zoning for review and recommendation.
I'll make that motion, Your Honor.
I'll second, Your Honor.
Have a motion, a second discussion. All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Yes, it is, yes,
Severn was
the last name was Vinnie, that's correct.
Do we have an idea of what he's requesting?
I haven't looked at it.
I thought it said bar and grill on the application.
Special use to establish a bar and grill.
I think he actually needs a text amendment to the zoning ordinance before he can get a special use. I'm not sure though.
It has been vacant for over a year.
Okay, any other questions on that?
No, sir.
Okay, next communication from CF.
Then we have a communication from CF Industries requesting annexation.
Have a motion to receive communication, place on file, and,
Your Honor.
Second, Your Honor.
let's see, any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Okay, then we have a communication from James and Bonnie Lester requesting a zoning change for property located at 1513 Chicago Street.
I'll make a motion, we send that to zoning, and do you know what they wanna do?
I think setback from 20 to 11, I think is what it is. You have a second? Okay, we have a motion, second, receive communication, place on file, turn it over to planning and zoning for review and recommendation. Any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
And we have a communication from Bethany Albrecht requesting permission to hold a diabetes awareness walk at Baker Lake on Sunday, November 5th from 8 a.m. to noon.
I'll make a motion permission be granted.
Second it.
Have a motion, second, to receive communication, place on file, and grant permission. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried.
And lastly, we have a communication from the Zonta Club of LaSalle Peru area requesting permission to hang purple ribbons around the area of the municipal building to recognize Domestic Violence Awareness Month for the month of October of 2017.
Your Honor, I'll make a motion that we accept the communication and grant permission.
Do I hear a second? Have a motion and a second to receive the communication plan on file and grant permission. Is there any discussion? All in favor signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion carried. Is there anything further for petitions,
Nothing further.
communication? Okay, public comment. Do we have any public comment? Anybody? Okay, Mr. Perez. Would you make sure the mic is on, somebody?
Thank you. Over the last several months, I've been FOIAing information from the clerk's office. I understand this takes a lot of time and can be frustrating for the FOIA clerk. I want to thank the clerk's office and Stephanie Pisha for always responding and answering my requests in a timely manner. Thank you, Stephanie. Back around 2012, 2013, former Alderman Mazak and I, during a council meeting, questioned line items in the disbursements, in which we requested to review receipts from charges made by a city employee. Our discovery led to misappropriation of funds, which is the politically correct term to use, but in reality it was theft, which then led to that employee's resignation. If this was a private sector, there would have been theft charges filed. Months later came the payroll scandal, which was discovered not to be criminal. At that time, I made the recommendation to the council to retain a third-party internal controls examiner to thoroughly review our books and make recommendations to secure the city of fraud and theft of public funds. The council denied my request. At the end of September, I decided to FOIA all city credit card statements along with the city credit card policy. My request was from September 2016 to September 2017. Due to clearly questionable line items within these statements, I'm highly recommending the city reconsider and hires a third-party internal controls examiner to examine all city financials to see what comes of it. There will be a cost to it, but at the same time, I don't feel we can afford not to do that. To make clear, I trust the performance of our treasurer and budget director, and by no means am I pointing fingers at them. We just need to verify what's being done and spent by all officials and employees of the city. and a third-party checks and balance system is the best way to go. If this administration does not retain a third-party auditor, then it's left up to concerned citizens to FOIA and question, which only takes time away from the city's FOIA officer. Anything to this extreme should be done by professionals anyway, but we are fortunate to have concerned citizens willing to step up to be watchdogs. Credit cards are issued to just a few city officials. Out of the several credit card statements received, I've only been through the first couple of card statements before red flags started popping up. The amount of grocery and general retail shopping, along with an outstanding amount of restaurants, lodging, and parking credit card charges, one would think the city has traveling credit cards passed around to all employees to use for a free-for-all. I'm not insinuating all purchases are against the law or city policy, but there are lots of questions to many of these credit charges. Keep in mind, I started at the top of the card statements, so whatever non-elected official was named first, I reviewed first, and will continue FOIA requests on all other official cards, cardholders as they arise, as I'm still on the first cardholder. We must also remember the law and city policy states that credit cards or public funds can't be used for personal use at all. First, I question, why would a non-elected city official's girlfriend be named on a credit card statement which appears to be a hotel meal charge, according to receipts and statements? I understand there are conventions officials attend and take a spouse, but meals and other purchases are on their own dime and not taxpayers. I also see a general grocery list from one local store with purchases of a bag of potatoes, a blueberry loaf, Kellogg's Special K cereal, dog bones, a single beef roll, sour cream, then to wash it down with a bottle of wine. Another day were more groceries and meat charges, which I can't really make out of actual purchases as it just says grocery and meat. Another day, let's charge a carton of Pall Mall cigarettes. Another day, let's charge a bottle of cheap wine and a pack of Virginia Slims. Another day, even though each non-elected official already has a city cell phone, let's purchase a track phone and SIM card for $30. I'm not going to name which official holds this credit card, but because I have not been through all of the statements. Again, I'm asking this administration to enhance the checks and balances system by retaining a third-party internal control auditor to examine city expenditures. Thank you.
Do we have any other public comments? Yes.
My name is Pam Eister. I have lived in the city of Peru my entire life, raised my 3 children here. 3 years ago, I discovered a sinkhole near the curb in front of my home. I contacted our alderman, Rodney Perez, who in turn notified the Public Works Department. The city employees dug 2 major holes in my yard. After the first dig, they could not locate the problem, so they proceeded to fill the hole with 30 ton of CA6 rock. Approximately 3 weeks later, we woke up to 6 to 8 inches of backup sewer water in our entire basement. It blew the plugs right out of our sewers. The city workers came back and dug a bigger hole. Come to find out, through the dig, unbeknownst to city employees, there's a 16-inch raw water line that was put in our yard that runs the length of Meadow Lawn Lane, which there could be potential problems to homeowners and myself to have this happen again. Eric Carl, city engineer, through FOIA documentation, admitted that the damage was on the city side. Dave Bartley, city clerk, advised us to take lots of pictures, which I did. He paid through city funds for a dumpster, $1,000 towards a washer and dryer that took a dump, and a small town cleaning company that knew nothing about how to remediate a Class 3 spill. He also told us to make an itemized list of our damaged belongings. When we turned in the list, I found out through FOIA doc information that Alderman Waldorf had stated during a closed session meeting that it seemed like I wanted to remodel my basement. When we attended the council meeting to find out when we were going to get reimbursed, Attorney Schweiger instructed me to sue the city. And Mayor Harrell, I have known you for a very long time, and not once through this whole mess did you ever reach out to me to get this resolved. Suing the city was the last thing I wanted to do. All I wanted was to get my basement put back the way it was before the backup. So I did just what you told me to do, and I sued the city, and was reimbursed by the city after a very lengthy and expensive legal battle. I know what my legal expenses were. Just curious, what was the city's total cost of all this? I'm sure it is a far cry from what it could have been. This had to cost the city over $100,000. During this whole process, I have felt intimidated and bullied by the very same people that are supposed to be representing the citizens of Peru in an open and transparent manner. I have always been extremely proud of the city I live in, but the people in charge of running it leave something to be desired. Thank you.
Another public comment? Any more public comment? One more time, any more public comment? No one? Okay, is there a need for a closed session? Don't have one?
Don't we have additional items on the
I don't,
list, or do we cover everything close?
we have everything.
Okay.
Okay, motion for adjournment.
So moved, Your Honor.
Second.
Have a motion and a second, meeting adjourned.